coming, everyone. My name is Nick. I'm Indian, I'm gay, and I'm 14 years old. So my parents are actually from India, but I grew up in Arizona. And it's hard being an Indian dude in Arizona because you can really feel people's disappointment when you don't live up to their stereotypes. They'll be like, oh, you're Indian. You just don't seem Indian. And I feel like I have to say, oh my God, I am so sorry I forgot to wear my billowing floral pants today. Can you please forgive me? Thank you, come again. And it's weird being a person of color in such a white state like Arizona because you end up trying to assimilate into the whiteness. Like, especially when I was a kid, I tried to act like the popular white kids in school just to fit in. I remember once this cool kid, Connor, came up to me. And he was like, yo, have you heard the new album by Chameleonaire? I was like, no, I haven't. He was like, homie, what's wrong with you? Get with it. So I went home and got with it. You know, I learned the whole album. I bought a t-shirt with his face on it. I started referring to my braces as my grill. And it wasn't until years later that I realized just how messed up that was. I was an Indian kid, acting like a white kid, acting like a black kid, acting like Chameleonaire. Of all people. And while I may not be your stereotypical Indian guy, I did have a lot of Indian problems growing up, especially with my parents. You know, like right before I went to college, I went up to my dad, and I was like, Dad, I want to be a writer. And he was like, that's fantastic, Nick, but isn't it pronounced lawyer? No, Dad, I want to write books. Yes, there are many books in law school. I think the hardest expectation to deal with for my parents was their expectation that I would be straight. Coming out to my parents was not easy. When I was 18, I went up to my mom and I was like, Mom, I have something to tell you. I'm gay. And she was like, happy gay or AIDS gay? Disappointed gay, Mom. Disappointed gay. My dad took it a lot better, though. A week later, I went to him and I was like, Dad, I have something to tell you. I'm gay. And he was like, that's fantastic, Nick, but isn't it pronounced lawyer? There's this tradition in Indian culture where parents arrange their kids' marriages. Like my parents had an arranged marriage, a lot of my relatives had arranged marriages. And I thought the one benefit of coming out to my parents would be that I wouldn't have to deal with that bullshit anymore. But my mother is a dedicated woman. Just last week, she posted an ad on Facebook that read, my son, 21 years old, Indian, gay, works in entertainment, seeks Indian lesbian facing similar family pressure. It was a really awkward date. But I love being Indian, but I didn't always feel that way, especially when I was a kid. Once in elementary school, I was having lunch with my friend Samuel, and my mom had packed me a pretty typical lunch. I had 1 container of homemade chicken curry, 1 container of rice, and 1 container of more homemade chicken curry for later. And Samuel's mom had packed him a Lunchable. And he looked at my food and he was like, dude, that's weird. You gotta try the circular meat. And I was sold. Like, I didn't let my mom give me Indian food at school ever again. And around that age, I just started shunning everything Indian. I even swore off Bollywood. Like, I was like, Mom, I don't want to watch those movies anymore. They're dramatic, unrealistic, and campy. Now, please let me finish watching High School Musical. But really, for most of my childhood, I proudly identified as a coconut. Brown on the outside, white on the inside. I wore it as a badge of honor. And it wasn't until college that I started seeing my own race and realized that was kind of weird. Like, once my freshman year, a professor referred to me as a man of color. I had never been called that before. She said that, and I was like, whoa, I'm a man. In case you're wondering, I now identify as a fig. brown on the outside, and who the fuck knows what on the inside. I'm really lost. Thank you for letting me talk about race on your night out. Thank you. It's hard talking about race. And sometimes I think it's a little harder talking about race with white people. For example, my boyfriend is white, and a few weeks ago I tried to strike up a casual conversation about white fragility, which is it's a concept that white people can get a little sensitive talking about race. And the moment I said those words, white fragility, he had such a typical white guy response. He got super defensive, and he died. There's one thing I really do want to talk to you guys about, though. A few weeks ago on the TV show Nightline, they were promoting an interview that they did with Priyanka Chopra, and she's the star of that new show, Quantico. But they used a photo of a different Indian woman. And then a couple weeks after that, some reporter was talking about Lamar Odom, but they used a picture of a different black guy. And like last year sometime, a reporter was talking to Samuel Jackson and thought he was talking to Lawrence Fishburne. Or the other way around, I don't know. But the point I'm trying to make is this keeps happening, and it's gotta stop. And I'm pretty sure I have a solution. Until the media can go one full year without mixing up people of color, they have to use a photo of Ben Affleck for every white guy. Indiscriminately. And I actually started a petition on whitehouse.gov because I feel like Obama will understand. By the way, wasn't he great in The Matrix? I think one of the weirdest things about race is that sometimes you get racist toward your own race. Like, I was at Walgreens with my sister a few weeks ago, and the guy behind the counter was this Indian dude from India, didn't really speak English. Line was moving pretty slow. And my sister was like, "Why can't this guy just learn English? We live in America." And I was so shocked that she said that. I was like, "Shannon, I don't want to deal with your internalized racism right now. Let's just buy our skin bleaching cream and get the fuck out of here." Thanks, guys. My name is Nick Dodani.